What if the official dietary advice you've trusted your whole life was built on flawed science and corporate influence? In this video, we're exposing the nutritional flaws and commercial conflicts of interest behind the U.S. Dietary Guidelines, and why many experts say they're doing more harm than good. Let's dive into the truth. Every 5 years, the U.S. Departments of Agriculture and Health and Human Services release the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, a document that shapes school lunches, military rations, hospital food, and what your doctor tells you to eat. These guidelines have long promoted a high-carb, low-fat diet, emphasizing grains, limiting saturated fat, and encouraging vegetable oils. But here's the problem. Many of the guidelines are based on outdated, weak, or cherry-picked evidence. For example, the advice to limit saturated fat came from studies in the 1960s that linked it to heart disease. However, a more recent systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials, published in the Japan Medical Association Journal in 2025, found no significant link between saturated fat intake and heart disease. The push for high grain intake, 6 to 11 servings a day in the original food pyramid, has contributed to a massive increase in refined carbs, fueling today's epidemics of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. And while the guidelines warn against red meat, they fail to distinguish between processed meats and nutrient-dense, whole food meats like grass-fed beef or liver. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee, which reviews the science and makes recommendations, is often filled with members who have financial ties to big food and big pharma. A 2020 report from Nutrition Coalition revealed that some committee members had ties to companies like Nestle, Kellogg's, Unilever, and PepsiCo, the very corporations that profit from ultra-processed, carb-heavy foods. And the USDA itself? It has a dual mandate, to promote public health and to support U.S. agriculture. That's a huge conflict of interest. It's like asking Coca-Cola to write the rules for childhood nutrition. The result? A nation sicker than ever. Since the dietary guidelines were first introduced in 1980, rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes have skyrocketed. Millions of Americans still believe fat is bad and carbs are essential, when in fact, well-designed low-carb, high-fat diets have been shown to improve blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and promote sustainable weight loss. And despite the rise in plant-based recommendations, many people are deficient in nutrients that are best absorbed from animal products, like vitamin B12, heme iron, and retinol, which is the active form of vitamin A your body absorbs directly. Unlike beta-carotene from plant-based foods, which must be converted to retinol before your body can use it. So why aren't the guidelines changing faster? Because challenging them means challenging the financial interests of some of the most powerful food and drug companies on the planet. The truth is this: you can't rely on government guidelines to protect your health. If you want to thrive, you need to look beyond the pyramid and plate models and start asking, what foods are nutrient-dense? What actually improves metabolic health? What works best for your body based on your individual needs, not corporate lobbying? Many independent nutrition experts now recommend low-carb, high-fat diets, or even animal-based diets like keto or carnivore, especially for people with insulin resistance or chronic inflammation. If you found this eye-opening, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you think the dietary guidelines are broken? And if so, what should replace them? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.